White House correspondent.
Good morning.
So overnight, President Trump tweeting. What was the tweet overnight that's gotten so many people's attention this morning?
Yeah, the president was tweeting in all caps very late last night, a threat to Iran. The president writes, quote, "Never ever threaten the U.S. again or you will suffer consequences, the likes of which few throughout history have ever suffered before." This tweet was prompted by comments from the Iranian president earlier on Sunday, who said that pursuing hostilities, poking them, would lead to, quote, "the mother of all wars." The president responded to that. You also had Mike Pompeo yesterday talking about Iran at a conference in California, blasting Iran for corruption and human rights abuses, but at the same time saying that there could be direct talks and engagement between the Trump administration and Iran, but he also said that that regime is run mafia style.
What was interesting was during the Helsinki summit with Putin. Putin sort of said that he lamented the U.S. pulling out of that Iranian deal, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. And, I think the tie to Putin is kind of interesting because you had the president over the weekend saying he was severely criticized by the media for being too nice to Putin. He said, in the old days that was diplomacy, that if he was loud and vicious, he would have been criticized for being too tough. So, kind of an interesting, while he's getting criticized for seeming to capitulate a bit, be too nice to Putin, he's showing a tougher stance against Iran.
Yeah. All right. Now let's talk about did he or didn't he? Did he go back? Did he walk back his walk back of the walk back?
Yeah, we've asked. We're waiting to hear from the White House on this. Over the weekend, we're not going to be a mind reader as to what the president was referring to, and the White House wasn't explaining the tweet. But you had the president on Sunday asking why didn't President Obama tell the Trump campaign about Russian potential interference, which I should note they did. There was a exchange there between the Trump campaign and the government. But the president then adds, because it is all a big hoax. That's why. So the question is, does he think that Russian interference is a hoax? The investigation by Mueller into possible collusion is a hoax. Last week, by the end of the week, the president had accepted the intelligence community's assessment, says yes, Russia interfered. But I think with this tweet, it casts more doubt on it, even if he wasn't referring to that. Just the fact of it casts more doubt. It means we're still talking about all of this 1 week after the president's press conference in Helsinki.
Also, while we have you, Karen Travers, Michael Cohen, Donald Trump lashing out at his former attorney. What's that story?
Yeah, the president not happy with the reporting late last week that Michael Cohen had secretly recorded him in the final days of the 2016 campaign as they were talking about a payment to a playmate, Karen McDougal, that the president denies having an affair with back in 2006. She says she had a 10-month affair with the president. And the president over the weekend tweeted that it was inconceivable that a lawyer would tape a client. He said it's totally unheard of and perhaps illegal. We should note it's not illegal. It was in New York. It's only one-party consent required there. And that the tape would have been subject to attorney-client privilege, but we're told by sources that the president's legal team waived that privilege, which indicates they don't see it as legally damaging. Politically damaging is another question, and that's what the White House will have to be answering to this week.
I still don't understand why they waived privilege. If they could have kept it quiet, why didn't they keep it quiet?
I don't know the answer to
that. Sorry. No one knows the answer to any of these questions. And then real quickly, Karen, they actually have a plan for this week?
Yeah, they're focusing on Made in America products. The president will be talking about that later today at the White House. They're going to be spotlighting that at events from senior officials, and the president, I'm sure, will be tweeting about it at some week. But, the joke always in Washington is Infrastructure Week always gets derailed by some other news. We'll see what happens to Made in America.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, how long Made in America lasts all week long. Karen Travers, thanks for checking.